You're listening to What to Read Next podcast, episode 54. Welcome to the What to Read Next podcast. This podcast is hosted by Laura Amin, a voracious reader of romance and young adult novels. In this podcast, Laura interviews fellow readers and authors and asks them for book recommendations of what we should read next. We hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the show, guys. Before we get started, I want to chat about Book of the Month. Book of the Month is a great subscription box where you get to pick 1 to 3 books per month. The price is $14.95 for one book, and any additional book is $9.95. When you think about it, this is a great deal for a hardcover new release book. The best part is you get to pick which book you get each month. In terms of book selections, I've been able to get psychological thrillers like The Perfect Mother, literary fiction like Goodbye Paris, and historical fiction like The Air You Breathe. If you're interested in trying out Book of the Month, go to whattoreadnextblog.com/book of the month. Okay, today's show I have Lauren from the blog Reading, Writing, and Me. In this episode, we dive into young adult novels. If you're new to the genre, Lauren gives great book recommendations in this genre. Now let's get to the show. Hi, Lauren. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here. So tell us who you are.
I'm a book blogger at readingwritingandme.com, a writer and an editor at a new online literary magazine I just launched called Fireworks in the Night, and a high school student. That's kind of the laundry list overview, but really I'm just someone who loves words and can't stop pursuing the new ideas she thinks of. So
I love it. So what inspired you to start reading, writing, and me?
I'd been reading YA since January of last year, and by spring break, I decided that I needed a place to discuss what I loved, and I've always loved books. And I didn't have anyone to really talk about YA with. And I finally launched the site after reading All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. And I was bawling my eyes out at the end of the book, crying, thinking about how everyone needed to read it. And I talked my mom's ear off about it. I talked all my best friends' ears off about it. And I still felt like I wanted to say more about that book and the other books I read. And so I finally launched the site, and it was just a really great experience.
I love it. And I love reading your site. I love reading your book recommendations and your book reviews.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. So what's your favorite genre?
My favorite is contemporary, and it always kind of has been.
Okay.
But I feel like it's kind of a misunderstood genre because it's so broad in like the level of seriousness and like different things. And so I especially love the contemporary that confronts social issues or talks about mental health, or just stories that really get to the deep emotions.
What are your top three favorite books of all time?
Ooh, it's such a hard one because I read so many books every year for the blog. But the ones that have stuck with me most are, of course, All the Bright Places, Looking for Alaska by John Green, and then Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow.
Looking for Alaska is going to be a Hulu series. Are you excited?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm kind of conflicted because when you really love something, it's hard to like think about somebody else taking the characters out of your brain and putting them on the screen. And if they do it well, it'll be really awesome. And if they don't, it'll be sad. But I'm kind of 50-50 on it since I loved The Fault in Our Stars movie and I hated Paper Towns.
I hear ya.
So I think it could go either way.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be a good adaptation.
Me too.
So who are your go-to authors and what are your authors on how to buy?
So along with everybody above, I'm a major fan of David Arnold. I wanted to read his next. I read Mosquitoland, and I desperately wanted to read The Strange Fascination of Noah Hypnotic, and so I got to read that as an arc, which was really cool. But I had requested it before I even read the synopsis. I think the other author right now I would auto buy would be whatever Ali Christo writes next, because I loved her To Kill a Kingdom, which was her debut. And I'm not a huge fantasy person, but that one blew me away.
Yeah, that was a really good book. I was so surprised. And I was happy it was standalone, but at the same time, I was like, I want more.
I was actually at a book con where she was speaking on a panel, and I listened to her give the summary of her book, and I looked over at my friend who I was with, and I was like, you have to go and buy me this book right now.
That's amazing. So, favorite books that you read so far in 2018?
I think that 2018 has been one of the most amazing years for YA books, and so it's kind of hard. So there's 3 that are right now at my top. The Strange Fascinations of Noah Hypnotic, which was just amazing and really cool and interesting. And then Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi, which is most like what I tend to read, but it just felt so unique and fresh, and I love her vocabulary in it. And then my third would be To Kill a Kingdom.
Yeah, I read To Kill a Kingdom. I enjoyed it. Emergency Contact has been on my list for the library queue. So I've been on the contemporary bench, so I'm actually looking forward to it. I heard her speak, and she's great. So
she's amazing.
Awesome. What are your most anticipated releases for 2018?
This one's also hard, but I think that the most anticipated for me right now is What If It's Us, because I recently saw Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera at an event together, and they're such good, genuine friends, and they banter so well with each other that if they translate that into the book, it's going to be stunning.
Okay. Yeah, I have an arc for that. It's on my to be read list.
So do I.
Yeah, next couple weeks.
I'm so behind on reading. I'm like, I have to get to that one, but it doesn't come out till the fall.
So yeah, I know. That's the one thing. I was like, it doesn't come until the fall, but I really want to read it. I went to BookCon and I was like, I wanted to get the physical arc, and I just didn't get it. So I was like, well, let me see if I can get the digital arc, and I got it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But
yeah. That one and Sadie are the 2 fall releases that I'm having to really use a lot of self-control to not go ahead and read.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear ya. Yeah, I may read it in a few weeks, actually. That's in the plan. I probably will too. Yeah, I got a wild card that I'm looking forward to read this week. And that's probably going to be the next one. Yeah. I'm
about to jump into the first one.
It's so good. Warcross is a really good book. You get immersed in this whole virtual reality theme, and it's in Tokyo, and it's really good. And there's a cliffhanger at the end, so that's where I was like, I need to know what's going to happen.
I'm on the library hold list for it right now, and I feel like I'm the last person to read it because I was kind of nervous with it being like sci-fi-ish. Yeah. But I've decided I'm going to read it.
Yeah, I'm not a big sci-fi fan, but it didn't read like sci-fi. It felt like a video game. Like that's where, it was not like about space or anything. It's just like a video game, virtual reality video game. And it's relatable to what happens now with gaming and Facebook and, all the different things.
I finally read the summary and I was like, oh, that sounds more accessible than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a really good story. It's a really fun story to just get immersed. And she did a really good job of world building that doesn't feel like too immersive. So
yeah. Well, awesome. That's good. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. So what have been the most disappointing reads?
That one's also hard because I try to only pick up books that I'm pretty darn sure I'm going to like, but that has to go to the 2 books that John Green, who I love, wrote with other authors. So Will Grayson, and Let It Snow. I could pick out the parts that John wrote in those 2 books, and I liked them more, but he's an author that just needs to write by himself.
Gotcha. That's good to know. What book should my listeners pick up and add to their TBR?
So I just got my first library haul this summer, and I picked up The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu on a whim. I finished it a few days ago, and I just posted about it on my blog on Sunday because I couldn't wait to talk about it. And it's just so good. You can't put it down. Her voice just grabs you from the first page, and you feel like you know Clara, and you want to be her best friend immediately. And it's a great mix of a somewhat lighthearted summer story that's great to read outside right now, but also has a lot of heart and weight and thought-provoking storylines. And so I'm about to pick up Maureen's other books because that one was just so good.
Yeah, I read her K-pop one, the K-drama, and it was really cute. It was so adorable.
Yeah, I just got that one today from the library, and I was about to start reading it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. It's on my library queue for The Way You Make Me Feel. I'm looking forward. I'm number 6 in the list, so I should be getting it in a few weeks. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good.
Tell us where we can find you online.
Okay, so you can follow the blog on Instagram at Reading, Writing, and Me, or on Twitter at Read, Write, and Me. And then if you have any book-related things you want to have a certain book read, you can email us at readingwritingandme@gmail.com. And then if you're interested in writing, I just started an online literary journal called fireworksinthenight.com. And you can find that on Instagram at Fireworks in the Night or on Twitter at FireworksLitMag. And then if you want to find me personally, I'm on Twitter at Lauren E. Bryce.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren, for great book recommendations. For show notes and a comprehensive list of books recommended in this podcast, please visit whattoreadnextblog.com. In the comments, please share your go-to young adult novels. If you would like to support this podcast, please consider leaving a review on iTunes. Though this only takes 2 minutes, and yes, it will help get the podcast discovered by a new bookish audience. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic day.